Hey, this is Ted Lang, executive producer at Reverb Triple XP. We are showing off the game Fenix Rage. It's coming out September 24th for PC on Steam. We're going to show off a whole bunch of new features, new game modes. For example, here's the challenge mode. Challenge mode is really interesting. I mean, Fenix Rage, for anybody that has seen it, is very hardcore type of game. What challenge mode will actually do is give you the exact, kind of the perfect run. So right here, if you see in the top corner, you have a limited number of jumps, and once you reach that limit, restart. So these are really for those perfectionists. They're going to have a great time with this because you're going to learn how to get kind of perfect your skills, hone them in so that you can impress your friends and kind of show off on the global leaderboards, which is going to be a big thing, I think. Seeing everybody fighting over them and kind of getting your bragging rights, it's going to be really fun. Here we have God Mode. God Mode is actually a whole new game mode. You can play through the entire game a completely different way. So after being tortured and punished by all these little green guys throughout your first playthrough, now you have this blue flame that you're able to destroy all of them, but you do have to do it in a limited time. So although you're invincible, it still proves to be very, very challenging. But similar to the main game, it's all about completion. So there's opportunities to just complete it without getting the good time, without just getting it perfect, so that you can move on, but you always have something to go back to improve on. So how you unlock these modes is throughout the game you're going to be earning cookies, and the cookies you can use to unlock secret cookie recipes that you'll see. Also, you'll be unlocking modes like the challenge mode from playing through the main game. And here we see you get to unlock a whole bunch of different cookies, and these are actual real-world cookies that you can create yourself. They were all tested, deliciously tested, let me add. My gut agrees with most of these. Each one is based around the level that you beat to unlock it, so in order to unlock each cookie based on each world that you play, you have to collect the cookies in-game. So in-game cookies equal real-world cookies, which is great. I wish that worked for the gold coins in Mario Brothers. Through the main game, you also unlock stars, which you can end up using to unlock mini-games and all sorts of other little hidden features. So it's really playing through every aspect of this game. Another little bonus is there'll be these little hidden red squares that you'll find on certain levels. When you find the red squares and you get to them in a certain amount of time, you'll actually unlock some prototype levels called the Fenix box levels. And these ones will give you a little glimpse at how the game looked when it was in the prototype stage. Here's an example of one of those. So you can see very modern graphics, HD, 1080p, Atari. But this is exactly how the game was created, really using just simplistic graphics to really fine-tune the mechanics. Because with a game like this where it's so hardcore and pixel perfect, it's really important that the mechanics feel right. So at no point is it the game messing you up. It's you made the jump wrong, you did the dash wrong, so that it really feels that the game is as tight as possible. And that's, I think, was the most important thing for the developers, is making sure that it felt right before really adding the polish of the graphics and the sound and all those elements. And you also unlock a whole bunch of little mini games. These are really just good to get a break from the normal agonizing, painful gameplay. One example is the developers being from Costa Rica and doing so great in the World Cup this year. There's a soccer-based level where it's all about kind of keeping the ball in the air, getting it as many times as possible, and obviously you compete for your high score in this as well. I mean, most things in the game have leaderboards, have things to challenge your friends, get those bragging rights, and really just show off your skills. Whole bunch of different levels to play. There's 4 different worlds in the main game, each with 20 levels. And then there's also the dark worlds, which provide even more challenge, 20 levels in each of those worlds. And if you can beat those, then you unlock Sanctuary, the final world, which is brutal. Let me tell you, I still can't beat many of these levels. You'll also notice there's a whole bunch of different mechanics that you'll unlock all along the way. But the mechanics are actually world and level based. So you start off from the beginning with every tool that Fenix has. And it's really all about the levels, whether there's enemies or fire elements or ice elements, which help you solve the puzzles of each level. So very similar to how a lot of old school games happened in the NES and Super NES days, where your character was your character, and it was really about figuring out how each world is solved rather than upgrading your characters and leveling them up. So here's a sample of a pretty easy level off of the first world. It's got fire elements that you use to break the ice bricks. That provides definitely a lot of challenge still, but you'll see in a second, once you get into the Dark World version of these levels, it's much different. Red Forest becomes Red Dawn, and these levels now become quite a bit tougher with new enemies, new puzzles. These little alligator monster things are the bane of my existence. As soon as they start getting your scent, I mean, they follow you around faster than you can zoom and jump and dash and all that stuff. Getting the cookie becomes even harder on all these levels. He's placed himself very nicely in between. And also, if you notice at the top of the screen, you see one of those red blocks. That's exactly how you unlock the prototype levels. They're hidden throughout the game. So certain levels will have those, and you see the countdown timer, so it's all about reaching that block before the countdown finishes to unlock those levels. The other thing that you'll notice is that although the level restart for Fenix himself when you die, the game is perpetually always moving. The level itself doesn't restart, just where the player starts. So if a monster stops at a certain point, he's going to stay at that after you die. So you can kind of use that to your advantage or disadvantage. Another little tough trick thing on the Dark Worlds is this one has a exit that teleports all around, so even though it's hard to traverse these areas, it makes it even harder because you have to meet the teleporter where it's at. Fenix Rage is coming out September 24th for PC on Steam and multiple other retailers. Also, it's coming to Xbox One and PS4 in early 2015.